Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Kamloops for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the quarterfinals match between Splitmoon, who's playing Blue-Red Dragon's Control, and Gateways, who is playing Redless Villainy. So both these players are on powerful control decks with their own plans for going over the top and killing their opponents. Gateways has more creature-based interaction and essentially aims to drain out their opponent with the titular card Villainy, while also having a plethora of interaction and some of the best recursion engines in the format. Meanwhile, Splitmoon is playing a more traditional control game plan, has essentially burn for creatures, counter spells for everything else, and then goes over the top with tomb creatures, which are essentially creatures which, for each dragon card in your graveyard, they cost one less, and there's certain non-creature cards which also count as dragons, so they become much cheaper. So Splitmoon is going to open up with Endless Discoveries, which is probably the most powerful draw engine in the format right now for control decks. Hits a Mountain, a Cursory Glance, and a Frostfire Geysers. I think the Cursory Glance is definitely appreciated. Unfortunately, Split won't be able to have it in hand live next turn if he has to pick it up. I could definitely see the play here being just play a land, don't do anything, on end, on like Gateways' end, grab Cursory Glance and a Frostfire Geysers. Meanwhile, Gateways has a bunch of lands, but only creature-based interaction for now. Oh, okay, interesting. Splitmoon is going for the main phase Monkey Shines. I think this is, well, not a mistake. I just think that you still get to draw cards off of the Endless Disco, and I think that like making Gateways potentially play around interaction is generally a good thing. Okay, so Gateways does hit a no rest, which means that in the event of interaction from Splitmoon, we'll be able to essentially buy back the Villainy. And given that Split only has the one Cursory Glance, if Gateways just untaps next turn, plays Villainy, Split Cursory Glances it, but then the next turn Gateways can just no rest it back, that's definitely a powerful play. Meanwhile, it looks like, okay, yeah, Split gonna run out the second Endless Disco while still holding up Cursory Glance and Dova's Ire. I think Gateways is definitely feeling the irony right here, because Gateways is actually the person who designed Endless Discoveries. So, it's a very cool design, but also, to be on the other end of it can sometimes be despair-inducing, because you're like, man, I know what's coming. I know what they got. I don't like what they're gonna get, but I know what they got. So it looks like Gateways is going to try and run out the Villainy, but Split is instantly going to Cursory Glance it, as expected. However, the real problem is now that Splitmoon has access to Unraveling, can actually just play Gleaming River, pass, and then just pass here. And then if Gateways tries to no rest, Splitmoon just picks up Unraveling, counters it, and then Gateways is in a problematic position. Split is not going to do that. Instead, opting for the main phase Monkey Shines. I think that this is actually a really big mistake, because it means that Split can't pick up and play Unraveling. Has the Cursory Glances, but then those don't answer the no rests. So yeah, I think a bit of a blunder by Splitmoon right there. And again, you have the Endless Discos. You have card advantage at instant speed. There is no reason to tap out for the Monkey Shines until you absolutely need to. And if the logic is, well, I want to make my Dwemer cheaper, I want to make my Draconic cheaper, yeah, you can just do that by playing Dova's Ire if you don't need Unraveling. But if you need Unraveling, you shouldn't sleep on it. Especially since this is like a deck, it's a control deck which struggles with, okay. Well, fortunately, Gateways didn't try to run out the no rest. This Dead Man's Party, I think, is just going to get Cursory Glanced. Yep, but if Gateways had chosen to run out the no rest, Splitmoon wouldn't have been really able to answer the Villainy, because, Blue-Red doesn't exactly have many ways to permanently answer enchantments. Looks like Gateways is going to, okay, main phase Whisperwood's Exploration while Splitmoon is tapped out. We'll be able to buy something back, but I don't think it matters too much. So it looks like Gateways milled 2 Intrepids and Whisperwood's Exploration. So I guess I think you rebuy think you rebuy the Intrepid. No, okay, sorry. It's going to grab the Dead Man's Party. And I guess the thought is, yeah, actually Dead Man's Party does make sense because it can just start rebuying everything. Okay, so Split cracks the Gleaming River for Crystal Cavern. Okay, Dovazire into another Dovazire. So pretty good situation for Split, all things considered. Oh, no. I think Split made a mistake there just going straight to end. One thing that Split should have done was to pick up a Frostfire Geysers off of the Endless Disco and then just play that, because that's free. You get a land for free, and it doesn't decrease your overall land count. I think that's something that I've seen lots of players realize over the course of like the past month or so when Endless Disco has been legal. So it looks like Gateways is just going to pass. On end, Gateways gets Dovazired, and then probably Dovazire number 2 grab Dwemer, and then can cast Dwemer for 2. Well, okay, he's going to cast Dovazire for 2. Okay, realizes that it only costs 1 because of the other Dovazire. And then picks up Dwemer Made Dova, presumably. Yep. So next turn can cast that for a measly 2 while still holding up a Cursory Glance. Of course, that does open up all of Gateways' removal. So I think the play is definitely tap Nareba, tap Island, play Dwemer, hold up Cursory Glance. Or if you want to be more conservative, you can definitely just play Draconic Divulging for 2, and then hold up the Dwemer until you can be safe. Okay, yeah, so Split is going to be doing that. Probably wants to play the Dwemer with backup. So draws Dovazire number 3, another Draconic Divulging, which now costs 1 mana, and a Cursory Glance. Or sorry, a Polyp Pools, which Polyp Pools also counts as a dragon because of the changeling text on it. So, ooh, Draconic Divulging number 2. Okay. Rogar's Frenzy, another Dwemer Made Dova, Unraveling. Interesting. And you discard 1, right? I think you discard either a Dwemer. No. I think you discard an Unraveling. So it makes your other Unravelings better. You already have the burn plan. You really just need next turn to... Or actually, you can... Are the Dwemer Made Dovas free, actually? Let me see. How many cards in grave? Yeah, actually, they're free. So you just run out both Dwemer Made Dovas right now. And this is, like, Tomb making all of Splitmoon's stuff cheaper is just so huge. So I think Split is thinking about running out the second Dwemer Made, because potentially is worried about Gateways untapping, playing a land, Rapture for 4, which is a fair worry. And Splitmoon won't have an answer to that as well. So it's just going to pass. Gateways isn't actually going to exit on end. That is surprising to me. I see no reason not to just exit the Dwemer on end. Worst case, it gets countered, and then you get a freebie turn to just Windmill Slam Villainy plus DMP. Or like No Rest plus DMP. I think this turn, Gateways has to play the No Rest, because the only potential counterspell, as far as I know, that Split could have up is can't even have Hushing Word up, because Nareba is the land untapped. So yeah, Gateways can feel completely confident in playing out a No Rest. Taps the Murmuring Falls. I feel like that's a mistake. Yeah, you want to keep the Murmuring Falls up to potentially DMP or Descend. Okay, so No Rest comes down, going to be grabbing back the previously countered Villainy. And now the burn plan starts looking iffy. Gateways plays the Descend, shocks face. No Rest triggers again. You grab back Intrepid. So yep, Descend coming down. Okay, so Split is going to counter the Descend on the Helpless, but Gateway still gets 2 Villainy triggers, one from the Descend, one from the No Rest, and No Rest still resolves. So Dwemer still lives, but I think if you're Gateways, I would exit right now to avoid getting countered, and then you can actually just he's gonna pass. That I don't know if I agree with that one, Chief. But still, now Gateways is in a pretty commanding position. Villainy makes it very hard for Gateways to lose to burn. Splitmoon, notably actually, can Rogar's Frenzy and then make tokens off of it. So, okay, so it's going to get the second Dwemer Made Dova into the fray. And it looks like in response, just going to exit it so that the one without Summoning Sickness can't get in. Oh, wow, bold move by Splitmoon is going to actually pick up the Unraveling off the Endless Disco to counter this exit, and then freeze Gateway's lands or draw. Notably, this does remove the option of like Rogarzing for tokens. Still, swings for 4 this turn, um, swings for 8 potentially next turn. Like gateways can kill one by going villainy number 2 into DMP. Split hits a counterspell here though, I'd already used 3 cursory glances, but the 4th one is basically exactly what needs Split reads right now. Oh man, a third Dwemer made Dova, and this is starting to look like lights out. Okay, he's just gonna run out the third. So swings in for 4, swings for 12 next turn, has Rogars plus Dova. Gateways can block one with Intrepid and then kill the other with Villainy. Okay, so he's gonna animate Intrepid, just trade right there. Like this is still very doable for Gateways, because like resolving Villainy plus DMP is just so backbreaking for Splitmoon. Also, if Gateways hits like a Vibrant Rapture, that's even better. Pithwilt misses everything but the Endless Discos, so it's not super useful except for getting another Villainy trigger. Like, what I think probably the line here is play Villainy number 2, see what happens. If Villainy number 2 resolves, then you play Pithwilt targeting the Endless Disco point 2 Villainies things at the first Dwemer made Dova. Then you play Dead Man's Part, a point 2 Villainies at the other Dwemer made Dova. And then at that point, your like Gateways is just, I think, just wins the game 1. Okay, so it's going to DMP Villainy triggers at the Dwemers. 1 targeting a Dova, 1 face. Why? Oh, I guess because it was split up, huh? And now can Pithwilt kill the other Dwemer? Well, there's the Rapture. I guess won't even have to Pithwilt, can just straight descend and then hit face. Oh no, okay, it's just going to hold up the Pithwilt. I think that might be kind of a mistake. No, I guess the Villainy triggers will hit Dwemer anyways, so can't really be a mistake. Okay, on end, Split is going to Rogar's Frenzy, poke Gateways for 3, but at this point, Gateways is just rolling in life gain. Another piece of Burn, but Burn is not super useful right now. So Splitmoon picks up the Frostfire Geysers off the second Endless Disco, just going to shuffle it back into Library. Next turn can Nareba. I don't know if the next turn will arrive, though. Okay, swings with Dwemer. I think in response, you just... No, okay, it's just going to... Is taking it for some reason? I guess the thought is Split is low enough that, let's see. Pithwilt, Vibrant, Descend. Yeah, okay. So just with the cards in hand, Gateways can kill Split and has the mana to do so. And gets an extra recursion off DMP. So Split is very, very, very dead if Gateway sees the line. And deliberately wants to keep Dwemer around, I think, just for the Descend, just in case Split has an answered DMP. I don't think it matters, and I don't think it exists, but yeah. Also, does Gateways have 2 Whisperwoods in Grave? That's another thing. As long as Gateways has the mana to pay for it, which actually Gateways only has 1 G, so never mind. I was thinking Whisperwoods looping, but can't do that. Instead is going to pick up No Rest. Yeah, I'm not sure what... Yeah, there's nothing that Gateways has to be worried about because Split can't counter the Villainy triggers. I think really the only thing that Gateways has to be worried about... Yeah, like, there's just nothing. Okay, so it's just going to Pithwilt the Endless Disco. Villainies go face. Descend on the Dwemer. Once again, Villainy goes face. And then Vibrant Rapture for X equals 0. And Villainies go face, and that's game 1. Split really had Gateways on the ropes there. But then, I think... Gateways being able to resolve the No Rest and then just getting mass Villainy value, just the life gain was able to outpace all of Splitmoon's attempts to burn Gateways out. And then even with the 3 free 4/4s, I mean, even if they're free, they die all the same. So let's look at what sideboarding could bring in for both of these players. So in that first game, we saw that lots of Split's game plan was based on having cards in graveyard to really cheapen up his threats and card draw. Seal the Tomb alongside Memento Mori are really good at stifling that. Memento Mori is also another piece of instant speed removal for any of Splitmoon's win cons. Additionally, Demon Worthy is important because none of the pit wilts hit any of Splitmoon's win cons, so you just side out the pit wilts and bring in demon worthies instead. So I think uh, I talked with Gateways before the match, and they were thinking of bringing out 4 pit wilts, 3 raptors, 1 descend, and bringing in 2 memento mori, uh, 3 to 4 seal the tomb, um, and then and then 2 demon worthy, and then the fourth seal the tomb was a flex slot for either a seal the tomb, a duress, or the last or a second Nareba. So that was kind of Gateways' thoughts on that. Meanwhile, for Splitmoon, Cold Grave does work again because Gateways' deck also relies a lot on having cards in Grave. Still, the Pandemonium is basically just a counterspell that also happens to draw a card and hits everything in Gateways' deck. Chronofracture is absurdly good in control mirrors because you just grab all their win cons and go to town. Abscond can steal Intrepids, or actually, if they can animate the Intrepid, it can't. But then if you're on the play, which Split is, Abscond can grab Intrepids, also grabs Villainies and Dead Man's Parties. Blood Tide is also cruelly effective against Gateways' greedy 4-color deck. So I'm not sure what exact proportion Splitmoon would use, but I think those are all very good cards versus Gateways. So it looks like Gateways did bring in the Duress, ran it out turn 1 against Splitmoon, taking his Unraveling. Still has a second Unraveling in hand, as well as Cursory Glance and 2 Dovazires, which will make this Dwemer Maid Dova so much cheaper. Meanwhile, Gateways doesn't have that great of a outlook here. Has Whisperwood's Exploration, which is, I think, you can probably cast... Splitmoon is probably just going to Dovazire on end here. Yeah, okay, so while Splitmoon is tapped out, Gateways should Whisperwood's Exploration. Oh, but Gateways didn't. That definitely seems like a mistake. You want to be able to free resolve it. Okay, he's going to do it on the end of Split's turn. I think if you're Split, you just let this happen, yeah. And wow, Gateways mills 3 lands off the top. Can only get back a Duress. The Duress is actually fine though, because you can use it to just grab the second Unraveling out of Split's hand before Split has the chance to use it, or just grab the Cursory Glance because Split doesn't currently have a 3rd land. But I think I would be more wary of the Unravelings. And the Find Happiness means that Gateways also has a second thing to do alongside the Duress to proactively increase their plan. No, but it's going to tap out for Intrepid, and I think this is a greedy mistake when Split has two mana up. Yep, that's instantly getting Cursory Glanced. I'm not sure if... I think maybe Split drew the Cursory Glance after Gateways Duress them, and therefore Gateways wasn't anticipating it. Or Gateways just wanted to run the Intrepid into counter magic. I still think that Duress plus Find Happiness was the safer route there. Split is still stuck on 2 lands, though, notably, so it doesn't have any more interaction. I think Splitmoon should just Endless Disco right here, and then try to grab a land off of it. Okay, so it looks like Split is going to play the Endless Disco. Grabbing a Frostfire Geysers, Draconic Divulging, and Hautai. Okay, so it's going to immediately pick up the Frostfire Geysers. Yeah, no surprise there. So this means that Split doesn't really have any other plays other than Dovazire, Gateways' face, basically. So now Gateways untaps, probably just plays the Murmuring Falls, and then Duress plus... Well, it starts with Find Happiness just to see, in case. Yeah, because if Gateways hits like... what do you call it? I mean, you also get the Leitmotif, but if Gateways hits Dead Man's Party off of this, that's a slam dunk. Well, mills a Dead Man's Party, which isn't quite the same. Draws an Intrepid, which Gateways can't play this turn. I think you'd probably just Duress. No, I 100% don't understand the logic behind not Duressing. Okay, takes 3 from the Dovazire. Okay, and it looks like Split is going to run out Dwemer Maid Dova 4-2. Interesting choice. I feel like you would much rather keep up the Unraveling. Oh, but I guess the thought is just run out both. Gateways likely doesn't have answers for both. Gateways does Exint on end, and then Find Happiness. Okay, up, Exint comes down. Gateways mills another 3. Intrepid alone is a fine enough answer because it can just chump block the Dwemer. And well, right as I say that, Gateways draws another Intrepid. So, can't go wrong. So with that Nebula top deck, does have enough mana to Xanagan, but Xanagan can't kill the Dwemer and just kind of dies on the backswing. So I think Intrepid, you can chump with it safely because you have a second one. You can Intrepid to find like a safe black source, or like I guess you can actually just find Nareba at this point, and then play Intrepid, find Nareba, play Nareba, also play the Duress. You can grab Unraveling, I think, because Abscond actually doesn't matter because you can just animate Intrepid in response. But yeah, if Gateways doesn't play the Duress this turn, that would I think like I would not know why. Like, what is the point of keeping Duress in your hand in that case? Oh, and it's actually going to play the Nebula. Interesting. I don't know. That seems a little risky, especially since you don't have to do that. No, it's playing Xanagan. Okay. I think that this is the wrong move, but I could be wrong. Like, Zanny comes down, pokes Split in the face for 2, but then she dies in 2 turns. I guess Gateways can Intrepid next turn to save her. But like, yeah, I don't feel particularly great about this. Like, not knowing what's in Split's hand. I don't know. Also, Cower Awoken. All of these would be like Cower Awoken, Abscond. All would be great if Split had more cards or like more lands. So I think if you're Split, I think you pick up Draconic Divulge. So yeah, you Dwemer Maid Dova add Xanagan. Then main 2, you Draconic. No, I think this is the wrong time to hold up Unraveling. It's like it's the complete wrong tempo. I feel like is like it's like the way that I'm feeling about it, because I think that now like you don't have time to be thinking of answering like other stuff. You want to like because if your Dwemer Maid Dova gets answered, like you're just out of luck, and you need lands now. So I think Split not picking up and playing the Draconic Divulging was like a huge mistake. And yeah, now see the Unraveling's just going to get taken. Okay, so in response, Split is just going to Unraveling the Duress because why not? Gets to I think is probably going to draw off the Unraveling is what I would imagine. Yeah, okay. But this opens the door for Gateways to just play Intrepid, exit into the Dwemer, Xanagan face, and it's just off to the races at that point. Or doesn't even need to exit, can actually just keep up Intrepid to block, and then because, I mean, has the second one anyways. Why not? So yep, here comes Intrepid, grabs an Nareba as expected. And okay, it looks like Gateways is just going to run out the main phase exit. Dwemer Maid dies. And then Zanny's on face, and now Split is in a really awful position. And like I don't think Split I don't think Split could have avoided getting to this position, but I think Draconic Divulging and digging for more lands, like if Split had done that, might have actually been able to maybe even cast this Cower this turn. But instead, Split is like, this is actually really sad. Split is like has seen 3 lands and like his top 20 cards at this point. This is kind of disgusting. Okay, now is going to pick up the Draconic Divulging. Okay, casts it. There's lands, Rogar's Frenzy, and 2 lands. I think you probably discard. What do you discard here? Probably Rogar's Frenzy or Cursory Glance. I don't hate either of those. Like, you kind of absolutely want every card in this hand because you want both lands and Cower because you want to be able to play Cower next turn. You want Rogar's Frenzy and Cursory Glance because you want to be able to hold them both up. You want Abscond to be able to steal a Xanagan. So, discards the Gleaming River. I guess, no, I don't agree with that at all. Okay, passes with Rogar's up and Cursory Glance. But yeah, I think this really does feel like a mistake to me because if you kept the Gleaming River, what you could do is, if Gateways +2's Xanagan, you could safely essentially Rogar's Frenzy her on end, because I'm assuming Gateways is just going to swing in with Intrepid. You can Rogar's Frenzy on end, play a land, and then Cower. Gateways does know that Splitmoon has the Cower, so might actually play around it as a result. Oh, and Gateways running out the no rest. What do you have in here? Yeah, I can just get back DMP, which isn't super great, but like It's a value engine that Splitmoon can't answer. I don't think there's much you could ask for much more. This is already like such a precarious position for Split, and now it's just permanent on top of permanent on top of permanent that needs to be answered. Oh ho, so the aggressive play from Gateways is going to swing in with the Intrepid. So yeah, like, could have kept... Okay, so he's going to Rogar's Frenzy Xanagan or face? Xanagan it has to be, right? No, okay, it's going face. I don't agree with these decisions, dog. If Split top decks a land... Yeah, no, okay, Dovazire would have also been able to kill Xanagan. I guess Split is on 4 life, so needs to also answer the Intrepid, but yeah. Yeah, Split just not drawing those lands earlier just screwed him so much. Like, he lost so much tempo as a result of that. And, like, there were turns where he could have mitigated it, but it's still really bad luck. Of course, discarding one that you drew isn't much better. So I think Split's exact out... Actually, Split doesn't have an out here. What I was going to say is Endless Disco hits another burn spell and a Dwemer made Dova. At which point you pick up the burn spell and the Dwemer made Dova. Oh, but you can't free cast the burn spell. Yeah, actually, so Split again should have kept the land. But yeah, if Split had 5 mana, could Endless Disco hope to hit another Dovazire plus a thing? But then even then, Gateways would have been able to use DMP to recur a removal spell, kill the Dwemer made Dova, and swing in for lethal with Intrepid. But yeah, whew. I think that those are some crazy set of games, but Gateways just managed to go over the top of Splitmoon. I think game 2, like, Splitmoon definitely got very screwed, but some of that was definitely by his own decisions. So, meanwhile, I also think that, like, deck composition wise, having creatures as the primary win con makes it so much harder for Split to actually like keep them and use them to win, while Gateways' win cons are all pretty much uninteractable by Split, which makes it like if he has to always be vigilant with keeping his mana up, and if he isn't, he kind of just loses to a slow but sure death. But yeah, those are some super cool games. And this is only Split's second GP, so making top 8 is very impressive. Meanwhile, Gateways is moving on to the semifinals, going to avenge Augur, who is also on Redless Villainy but lost earlier to 6KJ. So Gateways is going to play the winner of Canterbury Egg and Blues Eclipse. So I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup in the next round. Either another control versus control matchup, but then a very different flavor of control from Blues, or, the taxing aggro deck, or the taxing mid-range / aggro deck, which has kind of been throwing off control decks left and right with its powerful use of Tinkerer's Tools and Pitwill dodging threats. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou signing off.